All right, so I picked that song even though it is about grammar and English from Schoolhouse Rock. I almost called it School of Rock, but that's a Jack Black movie. Is because we're going to talk about functions. So in algebra, functions and relations, it's kind of nice because at first you don't have to do any solving at first. So a relation is a relationship between a set of information, and there's a few different ways it can be presented, and I'll do that in a minute. And then a function is a type of relation, and I found some notes and it called it like a well-behaved function. A function is a well-behaved relation. So like every relationship you have is not a good one. So a function, like a functional relationship. So I have not had the best boyfriends in the past. So not all of my relationships with my boyfriends have been functional relationships. But we're gonna find out how to tell if those relationships between numbers are functional. So a function is for each input, there's exactly one output. And that will make more sense in a minute. But one thing we will look at is we're gonna pay attention to the x values. So the x values do not repeat. That is the big thing, the big key to functions. All right, so I'm gonna start with this first. So here's a table labeled x and y. Whoa. All right, so let's say we have a 3, 4, and 5, and then we have a 0, -1, and a 6. Okay, so this is what I mean. So we're looking at our x values and our y values. So in a coordinate, these as coordinates, they look like this: 3, 0, 4, -1, 5, 6. So this is the same information, just presented in a different way. So I'm just paying attention to my x's here. So if I look, I have a 3, I have a 4, and I have a 5. Nothing repeats. So yes, this is a function, and this is what it means by one input. There's only one output per input. So this is a function. So an example of something that would not be a function for one of these tables would be a 0, 1, 1, and then like a 2, 3, 4. So this is not a function because x repeats. So no, you can't have x repeat. Like, I should not go back to my dysfunctional x's. So my relationships that did not function, I should not go to my ex-boyfriends. Okay, all right. So now, so that was a table. So now I'm going to look at maps. So mapping is another way to present information. So you're going to see these two little circles, oval things. So again, our x values are going to be on our left, and our y values are going to be on our right, just like how our table was. Our table was x, y. Okay, so in our left bubble, I'm going to have 0, -1, and 2. And then my y's, I'm going to have like 4 and 5. Okay, so this one is represented by arrows. So from my 0, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Okay, again, we're paying attention just to our x's. So 0, the arrow only comes out of 0 one time. The arrow only comes out of -1 one time. The arrow only comes out of 2 one time. So if I were to write these as coordinate points, we have 0, 4, we would have -1, 4, and 2, 5. Okay, so again, looking at x's, we have a 0, -1, and a 2. X's don't repeat, so yes. And yes, y's repeat, but that's okay. Y's are allowed to repeat. We're worried about x. So again, for mapping, another example, you might have, so an example of not a function for mapping, you'll have like a 5 and a 4, and you'll have like a 2, 3, 6. And then I'm gonna have, okay, so these coordinate points, we're gonna have 5, 2, 5, 3, and 4, 6. Okay, so again, now you're looking at 5. You see how there's two arrows coming out. There's two points coming out from 5. So I wrote down 5, 2, 5, 3. So we already know, no, not a function. And then we had 4, 6. So that's how you tell for maps. And I think this video is going to go over 5 minutes. Sorry about it, but that's all right. Actually, I might do graphs in a separate. I might do graphs in a separate video. Okay. So for our next type of way that you would see a relation, so these are ordered pairs. So again, we're going to see x comma y. So for here, I'm going to have 3, 4. I'm just making these up. 7, 8, 9, 5. Okay. So these little squiggly bracket thingies, they're just saying that these coordinates are in a relation. So again, I am just looking at my x values. They're all I care about. I have a 3, I have a 7, and I have a 9. Nothing repeats, so yes, this is a function. And so sometimes you might see on like a test or a quiz or something, it might say, is this a function? So you'd write yes, and it might say y. You would put because x does not repeat. So that would be for that. And then let me give you an example of one that is not a function. So -1, 0, -1, 2, 0. Okay, so again, okay, and sometimes you will get, you could get a lot of points. I'm just writing really big. So sometimes you might get like 5 or 6 points, but I'm just doing 3. So I'm looking here, I have a -1, I have a -1, and I have a 0. So you guessed it, not a function. And then again, it'll ask you why, and it's because x repeats. So that is that. All right, I'm gonna do a separate video for the graphing and vertical line test. So come back for the part 2 video. Yes, okay. That's it. Oh, okay, yep, all right.